Bye-bye.
Hello, Mr. Lee Priest.
Hello, Mr. John.
Can you pronounce my last name?
Livia?
Close enough. Good enough.
How do you pronounce it? Livia?
Yeah, I mean, Livia is fine.
Livia?
Yeah.
John Olivia?
No O.
Olivia?
Yeah, no O, because then I'd be Scottish, and then that doesn't work that way.
Okay.
So before we go into ripping apart, what's his name? Tim Wilkins.
Oh yes, Tim.
Yeah. Before we go into that, let me. I want to say this about Sam Sulek, okay? Because I have to get this. I have to get this out of the way. Before Sam competed and turned pro, I wasn't the biggest fan. Right.
Yep.
And I would say, don't listen to what he does. He eats like crap and has terrible form or whatever. But then he put his money where his mouth is, and he competed.
Yes.
And he competed, and he turned pro in 2 shows. And I did a video that said, I don't know if anybody watched it, but I did a video that said, Sam Sulek made me eat my words. So you have to give credit where credit is due. Even though I was a critic of his, after he did those 2 shows, and especially after he got his pro card, I basically gave him his props, and I was like, well, this kid made me eat my words. He has a great future in bodybuilding if he keeps going like this, because he clearly has discipline to do what he has to do. So I gave him his props, and I have become a believer in Sam Sulek. Put it that way.
No, very good. Very nice. Very nice.
So let's hear what happened. I don't ever even heard of this guy until you started arguing with him.
What do you mean you never heard of him? He'll tell you he announced the Olympia 3 or 4 times that I was in it, and that's what a good MC was. Nobody's ever heard of him before.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be. So he's got to know people. He's on Olympia TV, right? He's got Prime Muscle.
Yeah. Well, he used to do the Olympia, like I said, because his comeback to me was, "Oh, Lee, you asked who the hell's Tim." It's like, no, I never asked who the hell was Tim. My reply was, I said, I know who you are. You were a shitty announcer who talked crap on stage and used to make innuendos with the girls when they come on and stuff. I said, yeah. Then he goes, but in his comment was, I announced 3 or 4 of your Olympias, and my podium placed higher than you did. I'm like, oh, that's you got me there.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. So this guy basically goes on his podcast, and it's him, Chris Cormier, and who's the other guy? Derek.
Well, Tarek, like Tarek too. It's like I got really nothing against him, but sometimes the things he says and has a go at Chris, he gets disrespectful. And I know Chris would probably love to punch him in the head, but he's only in that position because his brother took over from John Lindsay promoting all the California shows and that. So little Tarek, who I call Ernie from Sesame Street, because that's what he looks like, that little meme I put up. It's like he's a head judge and everything, and he judges all these shows like head judge. And he only got that position because of his brother runs all the California shows and all that bullshit. So
right. So Tim Wilkins, right? He comes out and he basically
remember the name.
Yeah, he basically says Sam Sulek is garbage for bodybuilding and a garbage influencer. And I don't know at this point why you would say that, because he literally made everybody eat their words, including me. The kid turned pro in 2 shows, so I don't know why he would say that.
Even the way he said he's a garbage influencer, then he's on about too, where he's like, he hinted about the gear usage too. I want you to have longevity, make it to 30, hinting that he's just pumping the gear. And it's like, Tim, you don't know how much gear he's using. And then he mentioned his skin. A lot of kids can have acne on their skin and never touch fucking gear. So that's not a determination of how much gear you're on if you break out in fucking acne, for God's sakes. And then he's like, and you say, What do you mentioned something about being 23? You haven't had enough time. I'm thinking at 23, I'd been competing for 10 years. So, you know, Sam's probably been training for what, 5, 6, just because he's never recorded all of it. And that's the thing too, is like, you're a bad influence. Young kids, and even my millennial son asks about you. It's like, oh, are you upset, Tim, because your son looks up to Sam and not you because you're a shit father? Maybe if you're a good father, your son would look up to you and not some influencer on fucking Instagram, because Tim competed last year in the over 50s Masters, and, you know, Tim, did you take gear when you got ready for that? You're a bad example for old people, Tim, because old people are going to take gear now and probably have heart attacks and get high cholesterol and shit like that, Tim. You're garbage, Tim, for influencing older men.
The kid never talks about gear. I'm not saying he never takes it, but he never talks about gear. I think he alluded to the gear once. And the fact that he has acne. I know guys that are on a ton of shit and get no acne, and then I know guys that are on a little bit. I remember a friend of mine used Sus, and he broke out like nobody's business, and everybody, you know, reacts differently. That doesn't necessarily mean he's on a ton of gear, you know.
No, and it doesn't mean he's got bad health and shit. And then he goes on about his eating. Jesus Christ, I never had social media when I was young, but if I recorded all that shit I ate back in the day, even when I turned pro, and you'd see me bulk up to 285, I would have been a bad example. So when you're young, you can get away with eating shit like that. We all did. We all ate fucking cereal and drank chocolate milk.
Absolutely.
Fucking hell.
You know,
it's like anything. It's like Tim's going, he's a bad example. Tim, you can tell your kids, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do this. They're going to try it and maybe do it at some point. So what the fuck are you on his back for God's sake? Then he goes, Jay Cutler and Phil Heath are better role models and this and that. I'm thinking, what? Jay Cutler and Phil Heath never used steroids, Tim? And you're saying you're out for the health and longevity of sport. You've been in it since the 90s, like you said. And it's like all those people you commentate on the Olympia stage, we were all using gear and stuff. So get off your high horse. I think he's just upset because his son likes Sam more than him. But now you've disappeared on me again, so I don't know if you heard a word I said.
I heard everything you said. Can you hear me and see me?
Circle.
Can you hear me and see me now?
Spinning around and round.
Can you
on YouTube sometimes?
Can you at least hear me? You can't hear a fucking thing.
I'll just sit here till you come back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Come back to me.
All right. Well, what I'm going to say, what I'm actually going to say is, as influencers go, and again, I was a critic of Sam when he first came out.
A Weather.
Yeah,
we talked to someone on the moon back in the late 60s.
Can you let me finish? I was a critic of Sam Sulek when he first came out, and he started and I was saying, don't do what he does because he's eating like crap and his form is bad and so on and so forth. But you know,
could you hear me? Could you hear me before still?
Yes, I could hear you. Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to drive while we're talking. Drive because then I might get a better signal.
Okay,
I'll crash in the rain. Either way, I'll make good footage.
But you happen to be right. I remember being in my early 20s and eating cereal before going to the gym. The kid has to learn. And look, as far as him saying Phil Heath and Jay Cutler are better role models, okay. But today the thing is, it's a different world now. The influencers are these kids, and as influencers go, who would you rather the kids look up to? Sam Sulek, who never talks about fucking never talks about gear, gets on stage, competes, gets his pro card, and is continuing a bodybuilding lifestyle and possibly a bodybuilding career? Or would you rather them follow the Trend Twins, or would you rather them follow rest in peace Boston Lloyd, when he basically put 3 cc's on his hat because that's how much gear he would pump into himself? I mean, as influencers go, even though I was a critic and he made me eat my words, he's not nearly as bad as some of the people out there. Dr. Tony Huge, come on, Dr. Tony, that fucking idiot.
God.
When he had
he had those guys in Thailand do all that gear, remember? Now, remember that video, and some of them ended up sick. They're like, I can't train. The injection sites are so sore. I'm thinking, what are you doing? And then, Tim goes on about a bad influence. I'm sure Sam has let's just say he inspired 10,000 new kids into the sport. Maybe 9,000 of them don't even touch gear. So, yeah, sure, someone going to look at Sam and go, okay, he's on gear, I'm going to try it too. But like you said, Sam doesn't discuss what gear he's taken. Sam's talked about his training. He films it. When he hurt his pec and tore it, he admitted he was doing stupid shit when he got injured. So he's an open book, and all he does is film what he does. It's like he's not endorsing gear use. So you can't blame Sam if some young kid goes, I'm going to go take testosterone because I think Sam's on it.
The kid never is never in trouble. The kid is never caught with girls. The kid is never doing out partying, doing drugs or drinking. I'm pretty sure the kid is still in college or graduated college. Yeah, you gotta give credit where credit is due.
He never says a bad word.
Never says a bad word about anybody.
A bad word about anyone. Look at all the people that have said shit about him. Have you ever seen Sam come back and attack them? Even
not
Tim
once.
He doesn't say a word. He doesn't.
No, not once. And I don't know why this guy said that. And what is this guy Tim Wilkins? What's his credentials?
Well,
he's a men's physique.
I know. I was watching Dave, and who was I watching? Someone brought up and they said, could it be because Sam did the Arnold and Tim used to do, is still involved with the Olympia? Is it going to be this Arnold Olympia rivalry thing again? Who knows?
Well, that's the wrong way to go about it. It really is. You know, listen, man. I don't like shitting on the kids that are coming up in the sport. All right. Like, I'll call a circle a circle. Like, I can't stress it enough. I was critical of him before he made me eat my words. But to call somebody garbage for bodybuilding and a garbage influencer, that's just wrong. It's just factually wrong and morally wrong. You know, and this guy, I heard that he tried to go on and like basically justify what he said, saying that I'm just worried about his health and the gear he's taking and all this shit.
I've lost you for a second if you're talking to me.
I said I heard that he tried to justify what he said. Is that accurate? That he was trying to say things like, I'm just concerned about his health, and I'm concerned about the gear he's taking, and so on and so forth. You know that's bullshit. You know that's
come back, John.
Well, okay, so I'll just talk to myself till Lee Priest comes back. Yeah, that's how I understand he tried to justify it. That's not what he meant. He said what he said. It was pretty direct. It's not like we had to decide.
Keep talking, John. I've lost you for a minute.
No problem. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking. And it's a different world. You go to the Arnold Classic, you go to the Olympia, and the longest lines are for the influencers now, not the athletes. You know, and this has been starting. I went to the Olympia Expo. Oh God, yeah. Well, I am 9 years ago.
Hello. I can see you again now.
You got me. Okay, so I was just talking about how the influencers are all over the Arnold Classic Expos and the Olympia Expos, and I remember 9 years ago. This was 9 years ago, and Rich Piana had the longest line. You had to wait an hour to meet him. Okay, and then I went. I saw Jose Raymond standing there by himself, and I went over to him to talk to him. Meanwhile, he was battling for like second or third in the 212 at the Olympia.
Yeah,
and he was just saying, he was by his booth. He was by himself. I walked right up to him and I was talking to him and I shook his hand. I got a picture with him somewhere. But to meet Rich Piana was an hour wait, you know. And
but I reckon the Trend Twins had the biggest line at the Arnold this year.
Yes, the Trend Twins. You could be the biggest critic of these guys. It's not changing. So the influencers are where it's at. That's the unfortunate or the fortunate truth, depending on how you look at it.
But it's like when CrossFit started. Remember, everyone was coming down. I'm going to pull over here and see if the signal stays on. It's like CrossFit, when that come out, everyone bagged it. And I was a bit against it too, because some of the way they did their exercises and the shitty movements, I was like, well, that's a bit crap. But then I'm like, hey, if it inspires people to get off their ass and do some sort of exercise, I can't fucking knock it then. If it's, we might not agree with the form and the way they do shit, but hey, if they're out doing something, that's better than being a couch potato. So
I couldn't agree more. If you get into the gym and you are exercising, whether it's CrossFit, UFC, boxing, bodybuilding, I don't give a shit what it is, what is it? The Ironman where you do the biking,
oh, yeah, the running, cycling, swimming, and
I don't care if it gets you in shape and you enjoy doing it and it keeps you healthy. Keep doing it. It doesn't
exactly.
You don't have to do what what I do in the gym or what you do in the gym. Well, it's like comparing myself to you, but you know what I mean. But things like that is just I don't know what this guy.
Well, it's just seems so far out of left field to come out with that attacking Sam like that. When, like you said, there are other influences on there you could attack. It's like, well, even the Trend Twins, they'll talk about gear and stuff, but even they died it down and got on stage. So you can't hold
that's
them, so.
the truth. Yeah, absolutely. So except they're a little wild, and they crashed the Dodge. Their Charger. Oh, yeah. They got, that's the thing. Sam Sulek never does that. He's never in trouble. He's very level-headed. What the hell was I actually going to say to you? What did this guy say to you that it was like he basically said something insulting to you?
Oh, then he came on saying, Lee asked who the hell is Tim, which, in my whole thing, I never once said who the hell is Tim because I know who he is, and I said who he was and his stupid things he did at the Olympia. And then he goes, and I emceed 3 of the 4 or something, or 4 of the 3 Olympias you were in, something like that. He goes, and my podium placed higher than you. I said, I said, good for you. I said, at least I got on stage to compete. I said, how long did you have to prep reading notes off of paper? 16 weeks of hard dieting, cardio to get ready for that, reading a piece of paper to read out names and shit, and you did a shit job. I said, looking at you anyway, I think there's a bit of, you're always talking about your training all these young kids. I feel a bit of a Catholic priest vibe coming from you.
Yeah. I would love to know what did Chris Cormier respond to him when he said these things?
Well, when he said about Sam, you're garbage, that Chris just goes, oh.
He was just shocked that he said it.
Had that shock look and went, or something like that. Then
because Chris Cormier, he's the guy's a legend, so he could say what he wants, but he's another guy. Never says never says anything bad about anybody.
No, did Tim ever come down on Chris? Chris was always known. Okay, he was a bodybuilder, so he took gear. Chris was known as the biggest partier using recreational stuff. Did Tim come down on him ever and say, Chris, you're a bad example for the kids coming up and all this partying? And they still talk about his partying days like it was something fun to go and do now. So,
and what's funny is when I was young, when I was in my 20s, I was living in New York at the time. We used to go out. We used to go out to clubs in New Jersey and in the city, and I used to see him there. I used to see Chris Cormier at the Palladium. I used to see him at Palladium, the Tunnel, Club Abyss, Hunkabomb, all these clubs in New York and New Jersey. And he always had a crew of guys and girls with him. He always had an entourage. And he's just
was he a bad influence on you, John? Did he make you want to go do drugs
terrible.
And party?
Yeah. The only thing he was a bad influence was taking away the fucking girls that we were trying to get with. That was about it. But
I don't know why. It just seems so weird for Tim Wilkins to come out and say that, because it's almost like, to me, it's almost seemed like if they had a private disagreement somewhere, did Tim ask him to come on the show and he said no? There's something going on, because to come out and just attack him like that when there's so many people in the industry that have channels and stuff that are I'm not even going to say way worse than Sam, because Sam to me is not bad. He's just documenting his life.
It's low hanging.
What he does.
He's low hanging fruit. That's what it is. He's an easy target, okay? And this guy went off the easy target knowing that Sam Sulek is not going to fucking fire back. Well,
I think too, someone said Tim only has 5,400 followers, and maybe because Tim's an MC, he saw all the attention Bob Ciccarello got by saying something about Nick. Tim probably thought, how can I get my name out there? I'll attack Sam, and now look, Tim's name's everywhere. Yeah,
actually, you're right, because I followed him yesterday when I found out what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people did, because no one knew who he was.
And I followed Prime Muscle on Olympia TV. Now his
hold on, I do have a note to make. Next week there is Australian bodybuilding muscle or something. They're doing up limited edition T-shirts. They're going to be sending me one. Who the F is Tim? And it's got a picture of like Bert, Tim looking like Bert from Sesame Street on the shirt.
Yeah. Tim, Tim, if you're watching this or if you're going to watch it, come after me. Do me a favor. I need the publicity. All right? Come after me, because I'll fire right back. We can have a great we can go back and forth. You know, I don't pull any punches. So come after me. I could use the publicity. Tim Wilkins.
Well, look, but before it always seemed, when I watched that Olympia TV, it was always generally Tarek and Chris having the arguments. Tim was normally the voice of reason, the one that kept the peace in the middle there, kept the arguments down and stuff. Then all of a sudden, he just comes left out of field attacking Sam. It's like, that's weird.
Well, you know, you might be right, Lee. He might be trying to like stir the pot so people get to know who he is, and he increases his his
Well, he did
exposure on
compete last year.
social
If you
media.
pull up pictures, you can see pictures of when he competed.
He men's physique in a fucking masters category. Get the fuck
I know.
out.
And like I
mean,
said, was he clean? Was he natural? Like I said, was he taking gear, Tim?
Yeah, but like, you know, honestly, I look, I'm gonna be really, really.
Let the dream go, Tim. Let it go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be, if you are competing and you're over 45, over 40, you know, no, that's not true. If you're
unless you're an exception like Dexter and some of those guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but if you're a guy who's chasing a pro card after 40, come on, man.
No.
You know,
like I said, go to the gym, get healthy, do it for yourself. You don't need to compete.
Put that energy into something else. You know what I mean?
Into raising your son, so Sam doesn't have to raise him.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's see. Sean the Mouth Eats. I agree with Lee. I think he did it mostly just because he knew it would get a ton of attention. People like Trent Wins are much worse for bodybuilding, even though they're not pros, because they are. And then he says, so open about gear usage to basically glorify it. Makes it seem like it's not that bad if you want to be jacked. Yeah, look. I'll be the first one to say, like, you know, I use gear. I still use TRT and growth hormone. But you know, if you're going to send me questions, which I do every week, called Anabolic Academy, I am going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to gear. You know, and I'm going to give you everything that I've been through and everything that I've tried and everything that I've done. And guys, you know, guys like yourself, me, Jason Arns, Bo, at least we're honest and we talk about what's in store if you are thinking about trying.
And I've always done that too. I've always said the amounts I've used. That's what annoyed me, because I've always been honest about the small doses, whether it's 400 a sip or 500 a sus a week. And people go, oh, more like 4,000. I'm like, if I took 4,000, I'd say it. I'm telling you, if you got the genetics and you train hard, yes, I'm lucky. I don't have to use a lot. If I used more, would have made me any bigger? Probably not.
Right.
And then I even say, is 400 safe? Maybe 400 is not safe. But to me, I'd rather use 400 than 1,000 milligrams a week or something. So it's like, and I'm not endorsing saying it, but I'm like you. I said I used Tren 4 times. The last time I thought I was having a heart attack, I couldn't breathe, felt like I fucking got slugged with a baseball bat in my chest. And I said, I'm never touching it again. I never touched it again. So like I said, when we talk about gear and our experience, we're just putting it out there saying, listen, if you're going to do it, these are some of the things that could happen, good or bad.
Right.
So it's like, but we're not saying go do it. People are going to make that decision for themselves. Like we said, if I say, listen, everyone, from the age of 13 to 42, I never touched a cigarette, marijuana, never drank a drop of any alcohol, didn't do any of that shit. Doesn't mean people are going to go, okay, I'm not going to do it either. Young kids are going to be young kids and experiment with all type of shit.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Fake Greg Valentino says, how much Clen do you take? I don't take Clen. I hate taking Clen. I don't feel good when I take Clen. The last time I used it was when I competed in 2014. And
I stopped that too. I stopped that. And I had used it for a couple of years, but then I got all the cramps and then just the heart palpitations. And like I said, one day I was sitting on the couch sleeping. I'm like, who the fuck's got their music going, their bass and that? Then I was listening. I'm like, fuck, that's my heart. Boom, 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 boom. It's like you can hear it in your ears. Boom, boom. I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah, if I in the past, if I had used something and it made me feel terrible or I got a bad side, I just stopped using it.
I stopped. Yeah.
Like, I remember using IGF-1, and while I was using IGF-1, I remember I felt like I was getting the flu all the time. Like I felt like the beginnings of getting the flu, and then it took me a while. I'd be like, man, am I getting sick? And I was never getting sick, and I was like, it's got to be the IGF-1. I stopped using it, it went away. Right now, at my age, I'll be 49 next week. What?
Said, 49.
Yeah, and what's funny is that and my birthday is on a Monday, so we'll be celebrating together on the live.
Is that next Monday or?
Not this month, a week from this Monday coming.
Okay.
And I might be celebrating a little bit with.
So what's that? April what?
7th.
Yeah.
I might be celebrating a little bit with some raspberry gin and lemonade.
Yeah. I want you to drink it before you come on the show.
Yeah, I'll be drinking while I'm on the show. Fuck it. But
but that's the thing too. That's what I don't get when we say, you and I, when we feel something bad, we don't take it anymore. But these young kids now, I see on some of these boards where they talk or in Instagram, they'll be like, oh, I'm on trend right now. I'm irritable. I can't really eat. My sleep sucks. I'm thinking, if this drug is making you feel that bad, why the fuck are you using it? Just because everybody else is? That's like,
yeah, exactly. It's just, and at 49 years old, well, I'll be 49 in a week. The only thing I use now is TRT and growth. That's it. You know. Yeah. And let me tell you, at our age, using that, it's a fucking lifesaver.
You don't need a lot to feel good. That's what I'm talking about. And even if you
really
watch Fuad's podcast now, because Fuad will talk about the large amounts he used, and even Ben and some of them, even Ian, and they said they learnt later on they didn't need that much. And sadly, even Boston, I remember when I used to talk about my gear use, he'd be like, Lee's lying, you got to take this much. But I think the last few years he was alive, he even mentioned he was making good gains on half of what he used to take. So these young kids just go into it with this, like, my first cycle is 1,000, this and that. So the next one they got to be, well, I did 1,000, I got to go 1,500. It's like they just keep going up and up. It's like, no, I said, come off everything, clean out for a month or two, start back, but start at 400 of this and 200 at, you'll make the same gains as long as you train hard, eat right, get the rest in. The only one who benefits from you taking this large amount is the guy you're buying it off, because he's getting fucking rich.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
It is. It is.
It's a God's honest truth. And one thing that and it's always the young kids in the gym that want to jump on the hardest fucking drug. They want to jump on the trend. They want to jump on the trend. They want to jump on the Anadrol. They want to jump on the G. It's like, dude, you're 22 years old. Relax. You don't need all that shit, man. Seriously.
Have a couple of Diana Bowl and a shot of Deca and be on your way.
That's it. Like, seriously. I do, from time to time, I do use Deca or NPP, because if my joints bother me, my joints, but for the most part, and I, out of all that stuff, like all the orals and the Masteron and Tren, and I don't do that shit.
Yeah.
It's crap. Yeah. There's no reason to. You know, I just go to the gym to stay in shape. I still like to train hard, and you know, for me anyway, and feel good.
You train hard. You train hard, and I hardly train.
Yeah, well, you will. You just, you know. You are just a gifted freaking.
Allegedly. By the way.
Allegedly, yeah, I know. Let's see. What is it?
That's from Patrick David's shirt.
Oh, I love that show. I fucking love that show. I just can't stand that guy, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Great show, guys. Lee, any advice about moving to a new place and how you adapt? Also, did you had to let go of a lot of stuff or gym material, and how to begin working out again in the new place?
Yes, all my gym equipment I'm just going to give to a friend, because I do have room for it, but I go to the gym and just collect dust half the time. But when you move, I always just find, because I've only moved like 15 minutes from where I was living, you can become, it's like anything, we hate, it's like anything, you hate change. It's like if you move in a big distance. I remember when I moved from America back home, I've been in America 20 years, you know, you just get in that, here's my house, I know what grocery stores to go to, I know where the gym is. Like, you just get in that routine, you know where everything is to go to. When you move somewhere new, it's like, oh shit, now I've got to learn which is the closest grocery store, where's the closest movie theater. You know, it's just like that. Once you get into it again, you're okay. But even little things like, oh fuck, I got to change my address on everything. Fuck.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I know.
It's like,
that's.
I know, because I know a lot of times, you know, the change can scare people from doing it. But I think if you want to make a move, just do it, because generally once you've done it, it ends up being the greatest thing ever. You're like, oh fuck, why didn't I do this years ago? But I think we just get into that rut, we get into a routine, and like I said, making change sometimes can be a scary thing, whether it be moving house, getting a new job, you know, anything, a new relationship. It's always that unknown aspect of it all.
No, yeah, and
that almost sounded like a real proper answer, didn't it? What's wrong with me? Fucking wake up to yourself, Lee.
Yeah, really.
Giving the good advice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I've been in the same house for 13 years, and we are definitely going to sell and buy a bigger home. But you know, the truth is, I'm not going anywhere until my mother passes. I'm not making any changes until that happens. Because she's 90 years old, and it would be just too much to handle when my mother's got dementia, and we got to go back and forth and back and forth.
Well, that's like even my, Jimmy the Bull, good friend Jimmy. I have to get Jimmy on one day. He's funny. We'll get Jimmy on. He drives trucks around New York and through the Bronx. He's on the Bronx going over to George Washington Bridge the other day. He was calling me on FaceTime going over the bridge. Boom, fucking
yeah, he's a psychopath. Yeah. I remember watching him train with Palumbo years ago. They had that video.
But it's even like Jimmy, because Jimmy hates New York. He's like, I got to get out of here. I got to get down. But same as Jimmy, creature of habit. Him and his mum were really close, and his mum passed. And I talk to Jimmy a lot sometimes when he'd be at the cemetery visiting his mum. And I said to Jim, I know what it is. It's like, even though his mum's passed, they were so close, but yet he can still go to the grave and visit her. So it feels like you got that thing there. If he moves, I said to him on the show, I said, I know, because if you move away to, say, Florida, even though your mum's passed, it feels like you're leaving her, even though she's passed. And it's just because you've been there so long. That's where you grew up. You're with your family there. It's almost like you're leaving again, even though she's gone.
No, I couldn't agree more. The thing is, we're going to stay in North Jersey because I'm married to my fucking job. I can't go that far. And my wife has the salon, but we're just going to buy a bigger home, a garage, and more of a backyard for the dogs to run around. Because we got a yard now, and we put a pool in the yard, and then it cut the fucking half of the yard. You know what I mean? But
who has a pool in Jersey? Does it get that hot? You need a pool. You use it once a year.
Seriously, we will use it by. Well, I'll just Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's it.
Yeah, it's like
That's
Rockefeller Center. You go fucking ice skating.
That's it. Yeah. No, it's.
Look, there's John. There's John on the pool. Disney on ice.
Fucking
skating around.
Yeah. But we have an above ground pool here, so we're gonna in the next time we'll have an in-ground pool. But it's all in good time, man. All in good time. Oh God! All right. Anything else you want to talk about with this fucking guy, Tim Wilkins?
Nah,
should we give him a nickname? We got to think of a good nickname for him.
He's Bert. Terek's Ernie, and he's Bert. Ernie and Bert.
Oh, okay. Bert and Ernie. All right, good.
Yeah,
and
they look like it. So yeah. But,
yeah.
All
right.
I just don't think it was uncalled for, because, like I said, Sam's never badmouthed anyone. He's never told anyone what to do. So, out of all people to pick on, or just say you're garbage and your page is garbage and stuff, when he's done so much for the sport and inspired so many young kids, whether those young kids, like I said, go off and 5% of them do something bad, you can't hold that over fucking Sam's head, for God's sake. So
yeah. Great. Fake Greg Valentino says Tim Wilkins.
Tim Wilkinson.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good. All right, what do you got in store for the rest of the weekend, man? Is it going to rain all weekend?
I took today off training. The wife had to go work today, so I dropped her off. She's working from 12:30 to 7 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go home. My friend Paul will be there. It's raining, so we might stand in the rain and fish.
Yeah, very nice, man. I actually took took Saturday and Sunday off, and I never take off on the weekend.
It's almost like even today. It's like, oh, should I go when I drop her off because the gym's right near there? Then I'm like, no, I'm just going to eat today like the old days and pretend I'm filling out so I got energy for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's all. Anything to justify not going.
And come Sunday, I'll be like, fuck it, I'll do it Monday.
Oh, and then I also started a new segment where I'm going to be in the gym. I videoed the first one today.
Oh yeah, yes. Talking about that, you're going to video some workouts.
Yeah, so we did chest today, and was it strong?
You better be good. You better be good, mate, because if you're a bad influencer and you start, sending these kids down the road, fucking Tim's going to be on your case, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know. Tim's going to come after me. Holy shit.
Jesus.
I hope he does. I need the publicity. Come after me, Tim, please. Come, call me a name. Do something. Jesus Christ.
Speak dirty to me.
Yeah. Lee, always a pleasure, my brother. Thank you so much. We will be in touch this weekend. And we got the Detroit Pro. Let's see if Bonac can win that one. And I
drank half a bottle of raspberry gin last night with 2 liters of sugar-free Sprite.
Very nice. You know what, man? I might do that right now.
How much did you drink? Of the
no, I only had two. I sent the picture of the.
See, Tim. After all the shit I've done and the amount I drink, even a bad influence on John. He only had 2 fucking. You're
Yeah.
actually a disappointment. You're actually a fucking disappointment. John.
I know.
I'm actually fucking disappointed.
I'm a bad
talk to you
influence.
anymore.
I'm a bad influence if we go to a strip
2
club.
fucking drinks. 2
I know.
drinks. Fuck.
Look. Forrest says he's going to start a new channel and just shit on John's workouts. Yeah, please, I need the publicity. Please do that. But yeah. What's his name? Nick Trigilli. Please shit on my workouts. I need people to join my YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, and I want to say too to the management Matt, who's the management for Kylie Kelsey show. They didn't get to me yesterday. You send me emails all week. I can show you the emails of where they're setting it up, the times. We had a Zoom call to make sure it was all working properly and that. They come yesterday. I wait around all fucking day. I sent an email the day before just making sure. Never got a reply. Email yesterday saying, hey, what happened? I thought we're doing the podcast. This is very unprofessional. I changed my whole schedule for today to do it. No fucking reply.
They had to tune into this. There's no question about it. They had to tune into
they get a deeper dive. She goes, who's coming on next week? They said Reveille Priest. Okay, let me just do some research. What the fuck? And then maybe she fired the manager Matt. Maybe he's not there anymore. She goes, you're fired.
They came on the one where they watched the video when you were talking about when your dick couldn't go down and you had to go to the hospital. And
she probably heard me talking about the postpartum depression where you just get fatter and no one wants to fuck you and you got a screaming kid because she's pregnant again. She goes, I can't have my millions of women followers watch this.
Oh, yeah, that's a fucking shitty one. Lee, always a pleasure, brother. I will be
John,
in this weekend.
Do me proud and go get drunk, you motherfucker.
I am, actually. I'm going to text you.
You better.
I'll talk to you later.
I want to see that bottle where it is and then where it is a couple of hours later.
You're not going to be proud if you see where it is now. It's literally like that much is missing.
I can't even talk to you. Goodbye.
Later, bro.
Bye.